Are you subject to the new rule starting in 2026 that your catch-up contributions to your 401k, 403b are required to go into the Roth? It's a new rule. Does it apply to you? If so, will it automatically occur, or do you need to take action right now to change how your catch-up contributions are being contributed? I've got that surprising update, that more coming up. As part of the Secure Act 2.0 that was passed into law a couple of years ago, stated in the law is a new requirement that if you make more than a certain amount of money, $145,000 was the limit when the law was put into place, that if you make more than that, then any catch-up contributions that you do to your 401k or your 403b were going to be required to go into the Roth side of your 401k or your 403b. Of all of the provisions in the Secure Act 2.0, many of them were to Rothify or create Rothification, basically encourage people to use the Roth more frequently so that you were paying tax on dollars today, even if it meant to the IRS that you were going to, or government, that you were going to avoid tax on those dollars in the future, all the growth. They wanted you to pay tax on them today so that you didn't get a deduction and therefore that you paid more taxes. And I love the Roth, I get it, but there was one provision within the Secure Act 2.0 that gave you less flexibility, not more, and it was this mandatory Roth catch-up. Originally, they said it was going to start in 2024, but guys, it's been an administrative nightmare for these companies to figure out exactly how to enforce this. So they kicked the can down the road, and we're at that can now. It's 1/1 of 2026 is when this law takes effect. Here's the question. If it's now mandatory, I would think that, well, there's nothing I need to do. If you are age 50 or older and are making catch-up contributions and you made more than $145,000 last year, then it's just automatic. Then you don't need to do anything. It's just going to force your contributions, your catch-up contributions to go Roth. Wrong. You have to take action. Now, before we get into what you need to do, a couple of housekeeping items. First, the original law said that your wages, this requirement applied to people whose wages were more than $145,000. There's a cost of living adjustment to that number in the law. So when this takes effect in 2026, it's $150,000. That's the wage, that's the income limit, that if your wages are above $150,000 in 2025, then in 2026, your catch-up contributions are required to go Roth. So wanted to make that point. Second, it was recently clarified in the IRS, well, what wages are we talking about? First, it's not total income, it's just your wages. Well, what wages? It's your wages from the company that you're contributing to their 401k. So if you have multiple companies, it's just the wages for the company that you're contributing to their 401k. But then again, what wages? What box on your W-2? It's box 3. It's box 3 on your W-2. This is your Social Security wages. Now, that is in the IRS regulations, the publication that just came out a few weeks ago. However, I kind of want to see this in action because if you're familiar with your W-2, you've got your box 1, you've got your box 2, box 3, and so on. If it truly is box 3, your Social Security wages, that means HSA contributions that you make right out of your paycheck will reduce your box 3 amount. And therefore, if you're right on the cusp of this, you want to make certain that you contribute as much as you can to your HSA so you retain this flexibility and aren't required to make this shift, that your Roth contributions, your Roth catch-up, that your 401k catch-ups be Roth. And then that's sort of the last housekeeping item that I wanted to mention. A lot of people are confusing this, that all catch-up contributions now, if you're above this limit, all catch-up have to be Roth. No, just your 401k catch-up, your 403b catch-up, just through your plan sponsor. This does not mean that if you're doing a catch-up contribution to your IRA, say you're funding an IRA, that has to be Roth. This doesn't impact your IRA, your Roth IRA, anything like that. It's just for 401k, 403b. If this applies to you, if you know right now, you can look at your pay stub, if you know that your Social Security wages are north of $150,000 with the employer that you're contributing to the 401k and you're age 50 or older and you're doing catch-up contributions, you need to, this is not going to be automatically applied, you need to log into your 401k right now and shift your catch-up contributions to go to the Roth side of your 403b. This is not going to be automatic, even though it's required. You have to take action. Each employer and each 401k provider will announce this or communicate this in their own unique way. If you've already received some notification on this that you've got to take action, you're ahead of the game. Many companies haven't communicated this yet, and I just spoke with one who said, well, they're probably going to send out a communication sometime in January. Guys, that could be a little bit too late. So be on the lookout for this notification. If you don't realize this and you change it too late, or if you're 45 right now and you're not even thinking about this, and by the time you get to age 50 you forget to do this, then if you catch it during the year, I am told that companies are able to correct it during the year. However, if you've been contributing pre-tax and then all of a sudden they flip it and they make it Roth, you won't have any tax withholdings on those dollars, but at least it will be cleaned up. If it's not fixed during the year, what I'm told is when your third-party administrator, when your 401k company in the team that helps make sure the plan is doing what it's supposed to do, when they do their testing, which is typically in the spring of the next year, if you contributed by mistake pre-tax your catch-up contributions and it was required that it was going to go Roth, you're going to get a 1099 tax form. And basically saying, you've got to report this as income. You got a deduction. You're not allowed to do that. You got to report this as income. And you might say, okay, well, yeah, no biggie. There's no penalty. No, guys, that's going to land as income on your tax return and you'll have no withholdings. And the catch-up contribution amount is $8,000 unless you're super catch-up, which it's even more, and $8,000 of income without any taxes withheld. And this applies to high income folks. We're talking $2,000 to $3,000, maybe more, of taxes with no withholdings. This could catch, and I'm going to say will catch, a lot of people by surprise. I don't want it to catch you by surprise. If this applies to you, take action. Log into your 401k right now, shift your catch-up contributions to be made Roth. If you're unsure if this applies to you, work with your certified financial planner. And best yet, if there is some planning strategies that you can implement to improve your tax picture and maybe even continue to make sure that you've got the flexibility and the choice instead of succumbing to this mandatory requirement now starting in 2026, you're going to want to do that creative work working with your CFP. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.